Yes, everyone, welcome. Ohayou gozaimasu. Konnichiwa. It's another video here from the Tokyo Real Estate Man. And yeah, today we're going to look at some properties here in Kanazawa. But before we look at Kanazawa, I really want to look at like its really remoteness, like because I just feels really remote to me, like just in terms of uh, by the way, you can always push back on me, no problem, because my stuff that I talk about are just ideas, and I just talk about that the economics of Japan in this sort of area in here. I've often talked about my belt that I talked about from Ibaraki. I just moved it, just the southern part of Ibaraki, right here, down here to Kobe, is really strong in this area, and this is really it's really interesting because if you look at the history of Kanazawa, it's really been an isolated sort of area from this from especially like Tokyo, even in going back into the Edo period there. And it's still because it's what happens. There's these mountain barriers here, and there's this whole reckless, not reckless now. It's definitely there's roads going through there, there's trains going through there now because of the hard work of the people throughout the history of Japan. But it's just really physically remote. Just it's just in this little corner. However, that makes it really interesting too. And I found some really interesting real estate deals here in Kanazawa. And also, there's some on the other channel, there's some stuff that we looked at that's still for sale. So I thought that was sort of reflective way that we could look at some of that so we can understand the Kanazawa market. But I did find a really a great little find here. Me, Tokyo Real Estate Man, digging around the website here in Kanazawa to find you one really great find. But that one's coming at the end of the video. You have to wait for it. Or you can skip through it. Anyhow, this is Kanazawa. Amazing feat. They just about 10 years ago finished this Shinkansen line here. And it really, it's just amazing. And then there's a whole sort of tourist sort of rebirth, not rebirth, but just like a resurgence or here in Kanazawa as people discovered the beauty of the city. And of course, you can see it's coming here in the green here. This is Kanazawa Joe right here, I think. Yeah, and we're going to or all into this area. This is the Shinkansen line, and we're going to start to look at some listings. But there is Kanazawa right there, the city of it, and very cold in the wintertime. And a lot of the sort of main economic or tourism activity happens in this sort of area where I'm moving my yellow strategically made yellow so you can easily see it. We deliver what you want, you, the customers of the world, I guess. Anyhow, let's cut over here, and I will not forget to share my tab, as you can always put in the comments. Bruce, don't forget to share your tab. And I've restricted the price in our search here to everything under 1,000 mon. So everything here is basically under, I think, around $70,000 dollars. Okay, and you can see there's actually a lot of supply. One thing that I was wondering about is if I move this price one up here to, let's say, this is Ichioku, that would be say Q-sen or 9,000 Q-sen month. If we move it up here to Ichioku, how much supply will come into the market? It's really interesting to see. This is an experiment I have not done until this actual video. And this is the kind of experimentation, the Tokyo Real Estate Man, that I do for you, the viewer of this channel. All 170 subscribers. Ha ha. Okay. And there's nothing really. Look, we didn't really do much to it. So there's really no top end of this market. The top end, the top end of the market in Tokyo through the videos we've been doing for even detached houses in the central ward of Minatoku is 2 million. $2 million. How much is this going to go for? So we have the top property and no photo being shown here at about Nanasen Mon or 7,000 Mon. And what else do we have? Do we have anything else that we could look at? Let's have a look at, well, let's pop up these light green ones right here. This is another one. What do we have here? These, see here, even here going into this green one, you're getting around 4,000 Mon. So the upper end of this market is just not there. And that's why there's so much supply here on the lower end. Let's just switch this back here to bargain hunter status though, right there, which I set it at 1,000. And and I will, I want to touch on this first one here. This is one we did on the other channel. right here, if you remember. My partner's idea was to set up a bar for English speakers where they could get drunk and come and work on their English right there. And this one was for sale for 1,000 mon, just a straight house. But you know what? I think we made that video 2 months ago, and there's nothing on this. So what I mean is it's not sold. Nothing is moving. Like nothing is moving in this marketplace. This is not moving. So like you have to know that when you come in, that's really demonstrative of what I'm talking about. I think is that location. It's really isolated, and it's not just isolated for the tourists. Okay, it's a very isolated place for the Japanese people. Okay, and the people who maybe from here. Maybe they're moving. The ones who want to move. There's people that are going to be from where they're from, and that's going to be where they're from. But maybe there's a group of people that went to university, let's say in Osaka, and they want to stay in Osaka because there's better opportunity there. So it's just like demonstrative of that kind of thing, and not just isolated for you. It's kind of isolated for everyone, and you got to keep that in the backdrop. And that's why houses like this, they're not moving in really good neighborhoods. I better come back here for 1 second. I'm trying to restrict my search here to the most popular areas of Kanazawa, okay, where there's the most economic tourism sort of happening. I'm trying to restrict it to that so that we can go into the place that has the most demand. Now, I found another sample in the market here, which was an interesting one. I better come here to the top first. And was it this one? Oh, yes, it was. And this indeed is was the deal that I wanted to talk about. And this one is for sale for 400 mon, and it is located very, very well, very close to the castle, and a great price. And I was looking at the pictures, and it looks really, really good. Yeah, it's as a simple. It's going to be a wooden house here, two-floor wooden house. But we'll go through the pictures, have a look. I like the look of it right from the beginning. And there's Gancon right there. It's just a simple house, but it's a straight house for 400 mon. And I think it was $26,000. And look here, there's a little backyard here that I was thinking if you could fix that up, I think that would just be beautiful. Even just make that environment a beautiful little environment for yourself. It's just, I think it would be wonderful. Stairs up. Keep in mind some of these stair rails and everything like this from many, many years ago. I just have done lots of housing tours, just being in the real estate business. What happens is the people were shorter in Japan, and the scale of people I've mentioned in other videos, right? My son is now going to be 181 centimeters tall, and he's 14 years old. Okay, so the placement of these rails tends to be a little lower. So these need to be adjusted for sure, just because they're too low. And also, this staircase seems to be a little bit steep. Just in my just on first glance at the pictures. Anyhow, we'll just cut through the pictures here more. And then you'll see there's just straight to Tommy rooms upstairs. Maybe this house would be cold. Maybe there would need to be some insulation work done. But that's not a difficult job. You could do it yourself, and you could re-drywall. It's not that hard a job to do. And this, looking back here, I guess I could try to make it bigger. This was looking back at the property, I think, out the back to the property behind it. And this is very beautiful. And you'll see that the neighborhood characteristics, too, are one of a very historical one. Toilets, one for men and women. But I'm very impressed also with this whole design of these the countryside houses in this age had tile all around the washrooms like that, which are nice because when you go to the washroom sometimes you're aiming wrong or you just make a mistake. So it's a really easy thing to clean when you have tile there. It's a great design. This looks to be like an updated hot water system, which is great because to put in a new hot water system can be $12,000 to $20,000 in that. So this is great news. There's not much. It's I was reading the listing. Look at the bathroom. There's nothing. It's nothing to do. I would say that you might want to tile all the way to the top, but you could easily paint that and make sure you have good ventilation or a good ventilation system coming there onto the window. That's easy to do to stick a fan in. That's not hard at all. Anyhow, that's a really, I think it was a really good listing. We'll go through it. Here is a bigger picture of it there so you can see it better. and I think it's really nice. And you see everything. It looks like it was well maintained with a nice sliding door in the front too. Ah, beautiful. This is a great deal. This is definitely a great deal. Uh, I'll go down here to the listing, the details of the listing first. 400 mon, and that was 26,000 US dollars. Uh, Everything in the these are, it just talks about the systems and the services, and everything there in the house is working. Uh, any of the other financial details here? It's a 4K, which would be a four room and a kitchen. You saw lots of tatami rooms. 69 meters of land with 61 meters of internal building space. So again, that's why Japan, we don't have a housing crisis, because the land is used so efficiently. In Canada, America, the reason there's housing crisis because of the yards and the sidewalks and the street parking. Built 1950, so 74 years old. Finally, something that's older than me. Shoryuken, meaning that it's ownership, and wooden house. Well, that's good enough for now. Anyhow, I thought that I would bring you here to the map pictures, because there's a lot of fascinating stuff with the map too, and I'll try to place this really well in right here. You can see that there's a convenience store there, there's a grocery store there, there's a grocery store there, and this is positioned right near the river right here. So I like the position of it right there, in that it just has good flow. I'm a person that's into sort of what's known as, in Japanese or Chinese, is known as chi, but in Japanese it's known as ki or fisheng, which is all about flow. So I think near a river too, it'd be really good flow. Like, just like the air flow is good. I'm just really into flow. Anyhow, we can back up a little bit so you can see the location to the castle itself, and the most strongest economic area there is the Shinkansen station right there. So it's located really good at such a good price. It's amazing. I'd kind of like to get this myself, but I'm not sure my wife would allow me to get it. Oh my God. I'm owned. I'm owned. Anyhow, let's take this golden, or the Google. I got to get this word wrong or right. Google, by the way, I'm on day 12 with no coffee, and I'm finally doing good. So any of the videos last week where I was speaking a little off, that might have been because I was in my first week of no coffee after 40 years. I'm doing pretty good. I think I was day 12 or day 13 at this point in time, and I'm feeling very vigorous. Lots of key. Anyhow, the Google or golden Google map guy, if we drop him into here, you'll see it's a really cool street. And oh, well, there we go right there. But again, here we can see this older man is here. Uh, there's that is going to be there's going to be a very large segment of the population who are just older, and that's where we know in Japan there's oreka, and there it is in this picture right here. But this is a very cute street, and I liked it just because it's a very cute street. But look how well maintained it is. And like, coming from places like here in Vancouver, where I live about half the year in Vancouver and half the year in Tokyo. Okay. This is better than any neighborhood here in Vancouver. Okay, where the houses are $2 million in the best neighborhoods. Does that make any sense to you? No drugs. You see any drugs or homeless people sitting on the street? No, you don't. This is a great location. We can back up. Let's back up again, and this will bring us over to the next sort of busier street right here, which was a little wider. So this is one where you'd navigate. There was no parking though with that house, so you would have to find like a parking spot in the neighborhood if you wanted a car. But I would suggest to you that that would not be a very difficult thing to find. Anyhow, you can see the nature of the. This reminds me of my wife's hometown in Niigata. But yeah, just very. I think it's a great looking neighborhood. And I took the golden, or the Google Golden Map guy, and I stuck it over here, right there earlier, so I could have a look at what's across the river. And just look at the great flow. I talked about chi. This has just great chi. And by the way, those look to be new builds. So in this neighborhood is demonstrating there's demand, and we see that the people that are building these houses right here, they could have bought. Okay, they could have bought this one here. They could have bought this. Okay, but they didn't. They didn't because they didn't want that. They wanted something new. So they they bought this land and they constructed this one, or there was a construction company that saw demand in this area. They bought this land and they constructed these homes. So that gives you a little idea of what people want. Now, I'm thinking that house right there is a captured one, just behind there. But you can see how what I talked about flow, and this flow is very, very good. It's just nice. And it's a very beautiful, like, oh my God, this is better than anything in Vancouver. There might be some difficulties though, culturally for you there, because you will need to have a very good level of Japanese, or if your level of Japanese is not there right now, you must have a willingness to learn it. Okay. And I would say to you, it would be nothing but a pleasure. I studied Japanese very hard for about 5 to 10 years of my life, 5 hard years. Okay, and then 5 sort of easy years. Because after you got good, you got to throw your textbooks away. Anyway, this is a really neat property. I'm very happy to have discovered it. And we'll try to end here on the lead shot because I think it is a really nice shot. And it's a really nice property in a really interesting place, Kanazawa, Japan. Certainly you can't lose with this uh, property. Now, if there's any sort of financing options with this, I would say that uh, you could possibly get a loan for this, but I think something that's this cheap, even if you're from someone domestically in Japan, that you could pay almost cash for it. This is a cash price, and then you could operate a house like this without any loans and free of the banking system would be the way I would do it. 26,000 US dollars to pick this up. There's going to be more closing costs though for you to get it. You're going to end up around $35,000 by the time you do it all. We could look at something real briefly. I guess would be if you did want to get a loan for something like this. If you are in Japan and you didn't have $40,000 and you would want to pick up something like this, we could look at a brief loan simulation for that, ever so briefly, and that this one always takes, yeah, so there you go. And this is a really interesting one to talk about, though, with the backdrop of the American or the Canadian, like, you can't call it a bubble anymore. It's just over financialized real estate. If you were to buy this house, your mortgage payment would be $100 a month. Okay, you're talking basically in North America about 1975 perhaps. Okay, and your interest portion on the loan would be 2,000 yen a month. Okay, let's say that you put. Okay, this is just almost making me laugh. Okay, but let's say that you'd put a 25% down payment of 100 mon down, or hyakuman. Okay. Your loan payment now is 8,000 yen a month. Okay. The numbers here work. The economy here, in some ways, works. This is the way that you want to go. You want to make a smart move, like, and buy something like this. You want to come into Japan, get something like this in an economically strong area. Although it be remote, you know that there's a Shinkansen station close to here. You know that there's a great tourist scene to here. I don't think you want to be bold enough and try to uh, do Airbnb in these kind of houses, because you're going to do nothing but upset the neighbors. But maybe you could buy this and rent it to someone, some remoter, because there's a bunch of people in the world right now because they're renting two. I have two different people in my Tokyo apartments right now that are from working other places in the world remotely because it's cheaper for them to live in Tokyo. So that's another aspect of this that is absolutely fascinating. Anyway, another video here from the Tokyo Real Estate Man. いつもこのチャンネル見てるの皆様、本当にありがとうございます。あと、comment, please. Give me a comment. Tell me to share. Bruce, don't forget to share your tab if you made it this far. And 本当にありがとう。今日の動画楽しかった。Very enjoyable video today. すいません。この動画、これから終わりです。ありがとうございます。